Welcome back to Lost Legacies.
A Hidden City Book Company production.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Sam.
Here we go. Oh, I guess disclaimer. I think we teased that Dad was going to be on this week. He's
Yes.
not. I have a bum microphone. I'm hoping it's just the cable.
Mm.
So I commandeered his. Yeah, but don't worry, he's around. So we'll bring him back
You know
at
what
some
this
point.
means?
Some point soon. What?
You know what this means? That we should be doing this episode with Dad instead of you.
Oh no.
You get the week off.
That's true. That's
There
true.
you go.
I still gotta edit the thing, so
I know. I know.
yeah. But this is it. This is kind of like our last week, our last hurrah before we start watching Andor.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, until then, what's new? What's going on? I just saw a trailer, the new trailer for 28 years later. Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't seen that trailer yet.
Looks crazy, looks wild.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and they just dropped a new Fantastic Four trailer today.
I did watch that.
I was like, okay, dude, this is gonna be tough because they're gonna show us this awesome, cool new world, and it's gonna be gone by the time the movie is over. It's gonna be
Yeah.
destroyed.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
I will say, like, it's kind of interesting how like this just looks like in a lot of ways, this looks like Rise of the Silver Surfer,
yeah,
but better.
yeah,
Like, but actually good.
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know. There was just some kind of like classic feel to watching this trailer. It's like, yeah, this feels like a movie, like a comic book movie, and
That feels very comic book. Yeah.
yeah, I'm in it. I'm invested.
When's man? I gotta catch up on my MCU. At least the movies and the shows, but especially the movies.
Yeah.
When's Thunderbolts come out? Sometime this summer,
Uh,
right?
yeah. I want to say it's like the first week of May.
Oh, that's like in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Get ready.
Yeah. Well, I hope no one dies.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how we could tell.
I know they spoiled all of that.
Hmm.
Although, I mean, we could get like an alternate universe Thunderbolts, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe.
Hmm. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Yeah, we'll see. And I haven't seen Captain America yet. I'm a couple
Yeah,
movies
neither
behind.
have I.
So, let me see what else is. I don't know. What's new? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I don't really know like movie wise and stuff. I feel like I haven't been on social media a lot. So I
Yeah.
kind of am behind on a lot of things.
Hmm.
Um But I guess I am excited. They just released the trailer for Dimension 20's new season, Cloudward Ho.
Hmm.
Uh
Steampunk.
yeah,
We
steampunk season.
that's all we know. We don't know like what game system it is or what, but I'm like, dude, I'm always here for steampunk.
Yeah.
So one of the downsides about my new computer, I love my new computer, but it's this giant Mac screen,
Hmm.
is I can't see behind it. And
Hmm.
that's where I had all my steampunk books. It's like a whole stack,
Oh
you
yeah, that's
know?
right.
So now I'm gonna have to find some place to put them. I don't know.
Dust off the wall behind it and then hang it all up. Put like
Ooh,
shelves and
like on
hang
a
them up.
shelf. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whenever I'm able to find like do a cool background or something, I'll be able to
Hmm.
put all my like steampunk stuff and all my pop figures. I don't have any steampunk pop figures.
I was gonna say,
I
yeah.
don't even know if any exist.
I'm sure there's some. There's gotta be like a steampunk Batman.
Oh, I have a Batman. I think it's the Gotham by
Oh, is
Gaslight.
by Gaslight? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
There was I don't remember. It was a video game. I don't remember which one it is. Maybe like Dishonored or something.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
have like a very steampunk looking character that's a
Hmm.
Funko. And I'm like, huh. I don't know, find that thing.
Hmm.
So I've been out of the Pop Funko life for a while. I would love to get the Baldur's Gate ones. I would love to get the Arcane ones.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah. Let me see what else is new. That's kind I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Like this year, 2025, I really haven't been on social media that much. Well, like I'll still get on once a day and kind of browse,
Hmm.
but like I'm not checking my messages or anything. I'm very OCD too, so this is very out of character for me. Like I'm seeing the unread message numbers just go up and up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, I'm not about that life.
Yeah.
So not anymore. That's not me anymore. But if I see like just one, like, or it'll highlight it, like if there's just one unread message, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll see that. I'll read that one.
Hmm.
So I sent our friend Laura a video of a guy who introduced his friends to the Fellowship of the Ring. They have never seen Lord of the Rings. So he
Hmm.
sits them down for the 4 hour extended edition,
Oh
and he
God.
makes them a 7 course meal that he brings out throughout the film.
Hmm.
I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, this is awesome. The only one they really showed was like the stuff in Hobbit in Hobbiton. So
Oh,
like
okay.
I don't know what like the other meals were, but like he was dressed like as Gandalf with like with the apron. And I'm like, dude, that's rad, man.
That is rad. I love
That's
that.
cool. So yeah, I sent that to Laura, and that's been the majority of my message checking in the last month. You're
Just
welcome, Laura.
yeah, yeah.
The big D&D news.
Ooh, what is it?
Chris Perkins and Jeremy Crawford, the like two guys who pretty much like the head of like all the creative team for the past pretty much decade,
Yeah.
they're retiring, they're leaving. And I'm like,
Whoa.
oh man. And I don't want to speculate or anything.
Hmm.
There's part of me that thinks that maybe they were forced out or whatever. Because Wizards of the Coast is part of Hasbro and it's a big corporation and they don't know what they're doing with D&D.
Mm.
So I
Hmm.
wouldn't be surprised if that was it. But regardless, they both those gentlemen have a very successful run and career in that industry. And whether if they just retire or if they go find something else to do, either way, I'm excited. I just wish them the best. Because they also just seem like genuinely good people. So I don't know, like there's been a lot of layoffs going on, and there's a lot of rumors that like the new D&D like books that came out are um made nowhere near the amounts of money that they had expected, stuff like that.
Mm.
So like it's anyone's guess at this point. It's all corporate stuff and it's all hidden, but
Yeah.
I am a Hasbro shareholder. And I did recently vote on the new board of directors
Oh,
that they're
really?
trying to elect in. Most of them are just, they've been on it before and they're just like re-upping.
Sure.
I'll just say I voted for most of them, but there were a few that I specifically did not vote for.
Ooh,
So
okay. Okay.
that's because I know my voice on this podcast is gonna make all the difference.
I'm seeing the numbers are coming in now, and
Hmm.
there's, I think the market's gonna drop.
Yeah, yeah. Trying to think. I feel like there's a lot going on in the movie news and stuff like that that I'm just kind of just ignoring. I'm just not really pumped about anything right now. I'm enjoying my Star Trek rewatch. I'm
Hmm.
enjoying watching The Expanse. I'm very much in the past right now. I'm just gonna I'll just enjoy that. I do
Hmm.
really want to go see Warfare. That looks really good, and I've heard a lot of great stuff about it.
Hmm.
And there was something else that I saw. I'm like, damn, I really want to see that in theaters.
I'm excited for Sinners.
That's what it is. Like I
Yeah.
thought I really want to see Sinners in theaters.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man.
I'm
But
pumped.
Michael B. Jordan
Couple.
just seems like a really cool dude. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, yeah. Other than that, what do you got? What do you want to talk about today?
Today, dear bro, we're talking about Star Wars.
All right.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gonna prep me for next week for the new show?
Kind of. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and just to like let our viewers in,
I
because
don't need prep, Sam.
oh
We're
god,
living in it.
oh gosh, everything needs a session zero, Matt. Everything.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Um. So yeah, and also just to let our listeners know like what our relationship is with Star Wars, because I know we talk about. I'm sure we've talked about Star Wars, at some point. I know you talked about it whenever you were watching the Acolyte, and stuff like that. Oh god, you can't see it, but he Matt just winced.
Winston Payne. Yes. Yes.
um but yeah, like I feel like we talk a lot about The Expanse or Star Trek, even like Battlestar more than we do
Mhm.
Star Wars. And
Which is odd because, we both really love science fiction.
mhm,
And if you haven't listened to last week's episode, guys, where we review the movie Prospect, and we talked like for an hour and a half, not just about that movie, but about sci-fi in general.
yeah.
And it's very interesting. I'm having some thoughts about the direction of this podcast. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
I mean, if you think about it, it's always been a sci-fi podcast.
Yeah, it kind of has.
We just never really realized it. We're like, oh yeah. So
Yeah.
because we're watching a sci-fi show now for the next 20 something weeks, and
Hmm.
I'm already thinking like, well, what am I gonna bring to the pod after that? So we'll see.
Another
uh
sci-fi.
what?
Another sci-fi.
Possibly.
Hmm.
But back to my point, we're huge fans of science fiction, but we're also really big fans of fantasy.
Yeah.
And so you would think sci-fi fantasy would be like, which is what Star Wars is, would be like the top of our priorities, the top of our list. Like, oh, that's my favorite, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's really not.
I it's not, and I wonder if it's because it's harder to do it right,
Hmm.
or it's harder to do it as well. It's very easy to mess up science
Yeah,
fantasy, you know?
sure. I I have a theory,
Okay.
and it's kind of a hot take. I don't want it to come off as I'm saying because Star Wars is not a good story.
Okay.
Because I don't think that at all. But
Hmm.
I don't think the concept of Star Wars is so much better than Star Wars itself, you know?
Ooh.
And
Okay.
what I mean by that is like Star Wars is sci-fi fantasy, but there really isn't a lot of fantasy in it. It's
Hmm.
kind of pushed to the side. And you can't blame that on Kathleen Kennedy because that's my complaint with George Lucas as well. You know,
Hmm.
we've had talks about how much we love George Lucas's vision, how much we love Star Wars, and none of that stuff is in the movies.
Yeah.
It's always outside, and it's always, we talked about the other day, Freddie Prinze Jr. had this really cool like discussion about the way George approached the original trilogy and the sequels, and it was awesome, man. It was really good. And I'm like, wow, I never really thought of it that way. I
Hmm.
wish that was in the movies. You know, I don't want
Hmm.
something that's going to handhold me and tell me, hey, these are the themes,
Sure,
but
sure.
I wish there was I wish it played more into it. Like I feel like the true genius of Star Wars is um what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of the subtext,
Okay.
but with Star Wars it's doesn't whatever era of Star Wars, it's never really presented in the right way,
Mm.
you know? Like
Yeah, yeah.
you
Well,
need to
and
be a good actor to use subtext in your scene. If you're
sure.
not, it's just gonna fly over everyone's head. That's
Hmm.
kind of how I see it. Like it's the fantasy stuff. The big part is the Force and the Jedi, and I'm not saying I want to know how it works, but that's always just been surface level, bare minimum. You
Mm.
know, I don't want to have to go watch the Clone Wars to get more and understand more of what the Force is. But if I do, man, there's a lot of cool stuff in Clone Wars, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And it's like I wish there was more of that in the movies, especially because Star Wars has, for the most part, always been the Skywalker saga, you
Yeah.
know? And it's about the light and the dark and Luke being the chosen one to come back and his twin sister and that balance, you know? And it's like, okay, I love that idea of the balance and the twins, but what is Leia's role in the original trilogy?
Mm,
You know? She plays a good role, but not to the level of Luke, you know?
yeah, yeah.
So it's little things like that. So I'm not saying that I don't like Star Wars. I'm not saying that Star Wars is bad, but I don't really think it's capitalizing on the science fantasy aspect of it.
Okay,
Maybe it
okay.
has to do with the politics. You know, it's a very political story ever since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
They focus more on the politics of the world. We could talk about that for hours.
Yeah.
We know more about the
And
politics of the world than the actual quote unquote the magic of this world, the
yeah,
force itself, you know?
yeah. And
All
get
the
ready
Star
because we'll be delving more into those politics over the next 20 something weeks.
Yeah, but you know, to contradict myself, to be a hypocritical of myself,
Okay.
that's also why I'm really looking forward to Andor
Mm,
because I'd rather watch something where we go completely different direction
mm-hmm.
than something that I think was bad, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
like there's a lot of great things I loved about the Acolyte.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the things I didn't like outweighed that,
Yeah.
you know? So instead of watching bad fantasy, I'd rather watch a political thriller. I'd rather watch a story about the rebellion, you know, something like that. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
okay, all right. But again, who knows? All I've heard is that it's really good. I There is a chance that I don't like it. So who knows at this point?
I was watching interviews with the creator of the show, the showrunner, one of the main writers, Tony Gilroy.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I was watching interviews with him yesterday, and the thought the thought hadn't crossed my mind
Hmm.
until I was watching those interviews. And it was nothing really that he said. I was just like, oh man, I can't wait, until Matt sees this. And I'm like, wait, what if Matt doesn't like it? Oh no. What if Matt hates the show? Oh man, I'm never gonna bring anything else to the podcast. That's it.
I mean, he's done a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I had no idea just how like he did most of the Bourne movies,
hmm
and then he wrote and directed the Bourne Legacy with Renner.
hmm And you're forgetting he wrote The Cutting Edge, the
Mm-hmm.
ice skating movie. I remember watching that in
Uh-huh.
school.
Uh-huh. I remember that too.
Um,
One of the interviews I saw with him, he was just like we could talk about the politics of Andor all day. Let's talk about the cutting edge. Like let's go into the politics of that. We'll be here for hours.
so okay, I'm looking at his filmography.
Hmm.
He directs very little, but he writes a lot.
Hmm. He did say that he naively thought that he was going to direct the first three episodes of Andor.
Ooh, oh, he did
What?
write The Great Wall, however, starring Matt Damon.
He did. Hey man, look, John Logan wrote Star Trek Nemesis.
True, but that was really gutted. I blame the
Yeah,
director
but
for that.
yeah, it's also I feel like it's also just not that strong of a story to begin with.
Yeah, okay,
You
okay.
know, to end your movie franchise with, like, yeah,
Well, it
no.
wasn't supposed to be the ending. Nobody
Well,
knew.
well,
Well, it was.
it
It pretty
was.
much killed the franchise for a decade.
Yeah,
Um, I blame the producers. I blame the director for that.
yeah, I do too.
So, stop trying to make Star Trek a cash cow, people. That's
Hmm.
get a different franchise. You know.
Hmm.
Uh,
Just market what you have. Like,
Yeah.
Just buy into what you already have and then market that. Like, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
I was about,
I see why, but it's just like the guy, like Star Trek is never going to be as big as Star Wars, you know?
yeah,
And I don't think they had that aspirations, but they really wanted to do something big,
yeah,
And I'm just like, "Get- you could, but then you end up with a lot of stuff where it's like, okay, you're focusing on the wrong things. You're spending so much money on the CGI instead of just writing us really good, solid character stories. You
hmm
know, I was watching Target Audience just did their top 10 episodes of season 5 Next Gen, and it's really cool because a couple of them they were saying like some of these episodes are actually very slow and boring, but they're so well written that like we're
hmm
just drawn in. It's like, and that's the cool things about Star Trek. You don't need action in every episode. I was
yeah.
like, yeah, in the movies, okay, you're gonna need action in your movies. That's
hmm
just hands down.
Do
Uh,
you though?
I think so because they still need to be fun.
Well, okay,
Uh,
yeah, like they need to be fun, but I just rewatched The Voyage Home and I'm like, this movie slaps. And there's no action in this at
oh,
all.
that's a good point. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of the thing. It's like it by the time you get to Voyage Home, we've already bought into these characters, right?
yeah.
So and especially within the movie franchise, we're already bought into their story as it is. So now we're just kind of continuing it and all of that. So it's like
Hmm.
that's sort of the outlier, but I
Hmm.
feel like that's kind of the distinction. It's like that's what makes it work, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Hmm.
Even the ones that aren't as popular, like the motion picture or even the Final Frontier, those aren't necessarily action packed either. There are some
Yeah,
sequences, but I just agree, on the front that like it doesn't necessarily need action, it just needs to be exciting.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So, sci-fi fantasy though, Star Wars, you gotta have action.
Gotta have some action in it,
Yeah, you gotta have. It's a swords and sorcery. In
Yeah.
space. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. We'll see now. Andor, no swords and sorcery.
No swords and sorcery.
Hmm.
That does not mean that there isn't action.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, earlier you asked me what my earliest Star Wars memory was, and I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Uh, I could remember like my earliest Star Trek memory, even
Okay.
though I probably started watching Star Trek before Star Wars. But uh, man, I don't know. We were pretty young.
We were young. I mostly just remember kind of like a lot of stuff. Like I mostly just remember like watching stuff in the living room with dad.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. It's one of those things where like I don't want to say I took it for granted, but I kind of did. Like Star Wars has always been there. So like I really can't remember like my first introduction to it. Like I don't remember my reaction to finding out Vader was Luke's father. Oh, spoilers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I probably just turned to dad and be like, really? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, probably.
So
Yeah, yeah.
this would have been a great episode to have dad on. If only he had a microphone. Because I want to ask him that, like, yeah, how old were we? Like, what age is the age to introduce your kids to Star Wars? Because on one hand, you want to introduce the things you like to your kids at a young age, as long as you
hmm
feel it's age appropriate.
hmm
But also, you want them to be able, you want them old enough to be able to like appreciate it.
Yeah.
I know people who I've talked about like when do they want to take their kids to Disney for the first time? And they
hmm
said, well, we want to wait a couple of years so like they actually can remember those memories.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that totally makes sense. Because again, like I don't have specific memories other than just sitting there and watching um with dad. But like the big ones were like I remember specifically moments, if not like scenes, of watching Star Trek with dad or watching any of the Indiana Jones movies. I remember certain sequences, and just being there
Yeah.
with dad and being like, wow, this is so cool, you know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I do remember when I was older and they did the remasters, which
Yeah.
is which is what we have now. They're also the special editions. Like you can't find the original Star Wars cut streaming or on media anywhere.
Yeah.
Um, but when those first came out with George Lucas's additional scenes and updated special effects, CGI, they released them in theaters. And
Hmm.
we're like, well, what do you want to do for your birthday? I don't remember how old I was. I said, let's go see the first Star Wars. And I think mom even asked, really? You want to see the first one? It's like, yeah, because my thinking is like, I want to watch them all eventually.
Hmm.
And I remember us going to the mall, going to the theater and watching the first one, and I was bored out of my mind. I was just like, we were sitting in the back, and I was kind of just like pacing. I was walking like back and forth up the aisle, just watching. Damn it. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have the despecialized Star Wars. I have
The,
the
the
VHSs.
OG, really?
The OG, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Like remember the box set that we had?
Oh yeah.
The VHS set?
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
found it
That's
at
right.
oh man, I think I found it at like a Nine Lives bookstore.
Wow.
Yeah. Um
I'm pretty
and
sure there's just one Nine Lives bookstore.
yeah, I know. I meant to say a bookstore and
Oh,
then yeah, I said the title, the
there's
name of the book.
nine different bookstores called Nine
Yeah.
Lives.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it at Nine Lives bookstore. I actually, funny story, I bought what I thought was the despecialized editions, but I ended up buying the full box set that was the special editions just on VHS.
Mm,
Yeah.
hmm
But these they were also the versions that like because they're not the same version that's on streaming, that's on like
hmm
Disney Plus. Because I know Lucas, I feel like once it went to streaming, like there were extra stuff that was also added in.
Hmm.
Um so it was like a little bit more
Yeah.
well, yeah, a little bit more was just added in. So like this one doesn't have or that one didn't have the moment where right before Greedo gets shot, there's just a moment where he just randomly exclaims "McClunky," and then you know Greedo shoots and then Han kills him.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because in like in the special edition, they just do Greedo shooting first and then Han shoots him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that was the one that we saw in theaters.
yeah, yeah. That was the
Oh,
one we
okay.
saw in
So
theaters.
then later is when they switched it to Han shooting first.
No, no, no. Han originally shot first.
I mean, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. That's what I meant.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. My words didn't match my brain. Yeah, yeah. So yes, the one when we saw in theaters, that was Greedo shooting first.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So what are you saying though with this extra special edition? Like Greedo
The
still shoots first.
Yeah, so the stuff that's on Disney Plus right now,
Hmm.
it's still most of the version that we saw in theaters.
Yeah.
There are just like a couple of added like other things
Okay.
in it.
Listeners, we're not old enough to have seen the original in theaters, so we caught it in the 90s when the special editions came.
Yeah, 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 because
Yeah.
they re-released them in theaters before they put them onto VHS.
So when I was in college, I want to say this was 12, 13 years ago.
Hmm.
Wait, what year is this? Maybe, yeah, 13, 14 years ago. They were going to release all the Star Wars movies chronologically, starting with episode one, but in
Mm.
3D.
Oh yeah.
And I went to go see the first one, and it was after work. I was working at Barnes and Noble. So it was late. It was like an 11:30 showing or something
Hmm.
like that, or 11. So I get there, I show up. All my friends are there, got a food to sit down. Dude, I don't know when I fell asleep, but I woke up. as
Opening crawl.
soon as little Annie is leading the Naboo fighters to fight the Trade Federation.
Oh
I'm like,
wow.
oh, so I missed the whole movie, dude. But so I saw the whole finale. I saw the Duel of the Fates, and like it looked badass in 3D. I was like, wow, this is a great movie.
Yeah.
Like I slept. I hope I didn't snore. I we were in college. You know, my friends they're all cool, but they're also like I figured they would have woke me up if I was snoring.
Yeah, I think they
You
would have.
know,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
also I've been single for a very long time, so I don't know if I snore or not.
Mm-hmm.
I do know I snore when like I'm really exhausted. Like I stayed up way too late. I only
Yeah.
got a few hours of sleep. I wake myself up by my own snoring. I'm like, oh, what the hell was that? So I don't think I snored in the theater. I hope that's the truth.
Yeah, yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious what's like next. What's next in Star Wars? Like, what's coming after Andor? Are they still making the Rey movie?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, so they're still making Rey.
Yeah, they're still doing that. I just don't
They're
know because
still doing season 2 of Ahsoka.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because Clone Wars is officially done.
Bad Batch, did they finish that?
I don't know if Bad Batch is. Oh, actually, yeah, I don't know if that's over yet.
Because I know they've I haven't even seen trailers, but they're doing like the shorts now. Like
Mm,
um I think they did one on the Jedi. Now there's one on about the Sith. Like I have
yeah,
no idea what it is, but there's just little animated shorts that they're releasing, little seasons of it.
yeah,
Like, huh?
yeah.
Wow.
Ooh, maybe I can finally get you to watch some of the visions, the Star Wars visions.
What's that? Is that?
Those were kind of like the precursors to like the Tales of the Sith, Tales of the Jedi, where
Oh, okay.
they partnered with different anime studios,
Yeah.
and they made shorts that
Maybe
like
I
are
would like it.
not, yeah, yeah, because
See,
like
man.
one, like they're not canonical, and
Oh,
they also just told them like, hey, like use the aesthetic, use
yeah.
like all the stuff, but like go crazy, do whatever you want. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's some of them that like really go out there, and then there are some of them that are like, whoa, this should be this should be canon. Like there's one that I'm thinking of in particular that I know George Lucas like watched and said that like this is the best one. Like this
Mm.
this should be this should be like in the universe.
Hmm. Um, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I would like that. I'm just I guess I never really I should have prefaced this before we started talking about Star Wars. Like
Okay.
I love Star Wars, guys, but I'm just so burnt out on it at this point. Like
Yeah.
I haven't watched anything since what Revenge of the Sith? No.
No,
No. What's it called?
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. There we go. I haven't seen anything since. You know,
Wow.
like I'm just like I'm done, guys.
Y-
I'm cooked. And
Yeah.
I tried coming out of my retirement to watch The Acolyte and it just burned me out even more. I'm like, damn it. Ugh. I'm still willing to give him a season 2 because like um the things I liked about the show, I want more of it, damn it. I want more of what's his name? Manny Jacinto
Hmm.
and his bad guy, I forgot what his name was. And and the girl, like I liked the acting, you know, and it was intriguing enough. And I'm like, okay, cool. But no, they had to go cancel it.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I'm just like I wanted to watch the kids one with Jude Law.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
maybe I still will. Maybe after Andor, I don't know. Maybe Andor's gonna it's gonna be like a shot of adrenaline, you know, to get me back into Star Wars. But
Yeah.
like when you just said maybe this is what it's gonna take to get you to watch Visions, I'm just thinking like, nah. I got no desire. So maybe
Wow.
maybe
Okay.
this will kind of get me back into, you know, that headspace, you know.
Hmm.
Because even to a certain extent, we've both talked about similar feelings with MCU, but like I'm still gonna go watch the MCU movies. Maybe not as soon as they come out, you know, but I'm still down. Like I still care and I'm still invested. Whereas like I'm as far away from Star Wars right now in my life than I have ever been.
Yeah.
So if anyone's gonna bring me back, it's gonna be Diego Luna. So if he can't do it, then I think there's no hope. So we're gonna find out.
Yeah, we're gonna find out.
So also, I'm a Diego Luna fan. We need more Mexicans in space.
Yep.
Um, we've mentioned this in the past. I think it's really awesome how, well, I don't know about awesome, but it's going to be very interesting to watch this show while our world is slowly, slipping away into fascism. And I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
let's see. Who knows? What if this really triggers us and we just like stop the podcast? We're like, nah, man. Or,
I
or
did.
it radicalizes us.
Hey, I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Like I think even when this came out and when I watched it, like it was interesting, to sort of, just to sort of like hold it up as like holding a mirror up to our world,
Yeah.
and like this terrible rise of fascism, and all that.
And you're like, whew, we really
Uh,
dodged a bullet there.
yeah, hey man, yeah, man. I thought it was smooth sailing from here.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, no, and it's interesting too because Gilroy even says that he never he never went into this with an agenda. He went into this with the character. And he always approaches his story's character first. And I think it's just indicative of the world, that like this is the guy who eventually ends up leading the squad that kicks off,
Yeah.
the defeat of the Empire.
Hmm.
So it's like and that character in the movie that we've already seen has says that he's been in this fight since he was 6. So
Hmm.
it's like there's no way that we can tell this story without delving into, a lot of these things. But also, he says that like most of that is kind of consequential because he's also just pulling from history. So he's
Yeah.
pulling from just like various other points in history, and times and studying revolutions,
Yeah.
throughout, the centuries. And it's so,
Similar to George Lucas.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Similar to George Lucas, like George Lucas has, that history, but also sort of like the hero's journey, like how that has been used in
Hmm.
fairy tales and fables and all that throughout the thing. Uh, uh, and Gilroy is doing that just on a very like real level of like these are real revolutions, these are real
Yeah.
tactics that were used, like this is real things that have been employed or used, and stuff like that. Um, yeah, I still think like it's heavy, but it's not dark.
Yeah.
This is still a show where, we've got like flying ships and, laser blasters and all that, and it's like, yeah, like we've got droids.
What if Andor, the series finale, is
Hmm.
the actual original director's version of Rogue One?
I man, well, yeah, I would be interested. I would be truly okay. Since you gave out your hot take, right?
Uh,
You gave out your hot take and you said, that you're as far away from Star Wars as possible. Let me give you my end. I'm also not super invested in Star Wars.
hmm.
When I say that, like, I want you to watch Visions,
Hmm.
it's because I feel like that's what you're looking for with Star Wars. You
Mm,
said earlier that, like, oh yeah, like I feel like the ideas are more interesting. I'm like, yeah, and that's what Visions does. It's like,
mm,
hey, here's a cool idea, and it's gonna be rad for 20 minutes, and then it's over. You
yeah.
know? It's like I would love for more, delving deeper into the stuff, but like so far we haven't gotten that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, like because I'm really at a loss when it comes to like watching most of the shows. I didn't finish Clone Wars. I haven't watched Bad Batch or Ahsoka, or any of these other things.
Yeah.
But I was really invested in Andor, and when they said he was going to get a show, I was like, okay, like we'll see how this goes. Uh, and then watching it was just like, whoa, this was crazy. This is intense. This is it's amazing how well they're able to like hold tension across 12 episodes.
Mm,
No. And you
hmm
don't really know it because like, oh, you do get some spikes in like, oh, we got to relieve the pressure, but every time we relieve the pressure, it's building somewhere else.
hmm
And every time we relieve that pressure, it's building somewhere else. And you're like, so it is like it's this crazy like switch watch of events that by the time you get to episode 12, you're like, oh yeah, it had to end here.
mm
This is crazy. And I'm watching it and I am just thinking about anytime I've rewatched Rogue One since I saw it in theaters
hmm
and how much I wish we could we could go back and remake Rogue One with
hmm
this mindset, with
hmm
this kind of thing in mind. Because when you watch Rogue One, you're like, I feel like this is not like it's doing a lot, and a lot of it is
It fell
weird.
victim to the too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, yeah,
Producer, it was not what the producers thought would sell.
exactly, exactly. And like Tony Gilroy headed up a lot of the reshoots,
hmm
and so in my mind, I'm like, I kind of don't want the director's version
mm
because I don't think it's going to be as good as the version we have.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I
Yeah.
would still like to see it,
Yeah.
but just to see like what the differences would be.
Yeah.
But a lot of what makes Rogue One work is all of the reshoots and
hmm
all of the rewrites that were done.
hmm
So I just want to go back and like, nope, we're just gonna give it to Tony Gilroy. Here we go. Let's see how it all pans out.
I don't know why it's so hard to tell the story. Like, we had the Seven Samurai,
Hmm.
and then we have countless Magnificent Seven movies. Like, why is this so hard?
Yeah.
How did Zack Snyder screw up Rebel Moon so bad? What happened with
I'm not.
Rogue One?
Yeah, yeah.
I just don't understand.
It's like if you like, well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like you don't go looking to do a Seven Samurai when you're doing like this men on a mission thing. You go look at all those men on a mission movies, you go look at like The Great Escape or The Dirty Dozen, those aren't necessarily like drawing from, you
True,
know,
but the reason I go back to Seven Samurai and Magnificent Seven is because it's the gathering of the group. You know, a lot
mm,
of those
okay,
man
yeah,
on a
yeah,
mission movies, like those are war movies. This is a unit. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, and that's fine. That's okay. You could deal with the same themes, but I like the fact that these people don't know each other, but they've
mm,
chosen to be together, and they've chosen to put their lives on the line for whatever cause, for whatever reason, you
mm,
know? And that I like. It's a little different when it's that man on the mission because most of the time it's military. And
yeah,
that it depends on what movie it is, what war it is, what the mission is, because it's like, okay, yeah, you have to make the sacrifice, but what's the alternative? Are you going to run away from the military? Are you going to,
yeah,
that changes. You can, but that kind of changes the stakes a little bit. It's like, oh, okay, I'm going to go AWOL in the war. That's also dangerous as well. Whereas Magnificent Seven is just like, hey, man, you stay because you want to help these people. You
yeah,
know, by the third act, no one is there for the gold anymore. It's
yeah,
like you're here for a reason, and that's what I like about Seven Samurai, Magnificent Seven, and that kind, and like Rogue One and Rebel Moon. Um, regardless of my feelings of Rebel Moon, they all chose to be there. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
True,
So
true.
I feel like Rogue One. lines up a lot more with those movies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I can see that.
yeah, but I guess we're just gonna have to do it ourselves. That's a Thanos reference.
Oh, okay.
I was halfway through the line and I remembered, oh yeah, I forgot about that scene with Thanos.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you just have to do it yourself.
Fine. I'll
Yeah.
do it myself. Yeah.
Hmm. And was that not the Infinity Gauntlet?
No, that was.
It was, but he didn't have the stones, right?
Yeah, yeah. He
Okay.
didn't have the stones.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't have the stones.
Yeah, Thanos.
Yeah, he
Little
didn't fight the
punk.
Avengers until he already had some power behind him.
Yeah.
You know? Why'd he say, I don't know, it's semantics at this point. I'm like, why didn't he fight them in the first Avengers? He didn't have the stones.
Well, they also didn't know the stones were on Earth, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, man. This is gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
And or
I hope
exciting.
so.
I'm gonna love it and or hate it at the
Oh
same time.
gosh.
Uh it's gonna be interesting. And who knows, maybe if we like it, we could bring dad in every now and then.
Yeah,
I think
I kind of think Dad would really like the
from
show.
what I've heard about it, the show, I was like, huh, this sounds like something dad would dig.
Yeah,
So
because
yeah,
it does kind of veer into sort of like uh more like spy stuff, you
yeah,
know, uh and ooh, I'll try not to say two more, but like
yeah.
there's some kind of heist, at some point, and you're like, oh, this is we're doing this
Cool.
now. It's like, yeah, and it's yeah, yeah.
I don't know why I thought about this, but why have we had like a Star Wars Predator crossover? Like just Obi-Wan versus Predator? Like
Yeah.
that'd be rad.
Well, because Obi-Wan would win.
Well, yeah, but if done right, you're like, okay, how's he win? How's he do it, you know?
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Actually, I had because I was talking to Dad about the new Predator show, Killer of Killers,
Oh yeah.
and how there was the Star Trek Doctor Who crossover comic.
Hmm.
I forget who wrote it. It was a duo, but immediately after that, it was so popular they gave them a series, Star Trek Aliens, and Next Gen was
Ooh.
going to cross over with Aliens.
Ooh.
And like I think it was like the month it was supposed to release the first issue got canceled. What? And like they never talked about it. They never said why. I'm like, what? That sucks. I'm thinking it had to do something with the rights. Because
Probably,
this was
yeah.
before Fox was Disney, so I don't know if that had something to do with that or that was way
Mm.
before or what.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if Ridley Scott deciding to do Prometheus changed things or what, like I have no idea.
Was it that far back?
It was a while back. So,
Okay.
but I
Wow.
don't remember the specifics. I don't know where in the timeline we were.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, because I mean, it's when Matt Smith was doctor. That was
Oh
three
man.
doctors ago.
Okay. Whew. Wow.
Um, I'm trying to count the doctors backwards. I was like,
Yeah. No,
uh,
you're right. Technically four,
why?
because Tennant came back.
Oh, Tenet did come back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So anyway, I was telling Dad, like, I want a Star Trek Predator crossover. Just fill it with red shirts, kill them all. But here's the thing: you set it on the honeymoon of Worf and Dax.
I was gonna say, yeah.
So it's part of their bonding, and it's like, yeah, but Dax is having flashbacks because she's faced it before or something similar.
Whoa.
So it's like
Yeah.
Curzon fighting the Predator. Like that would have been rad. Curzon
Oh,
Dax versus Predator.
that
And then
was
for
rad.
some
Yeah, yeah.
reason, the next gen crew can't swing by because they're doing stuff. So Data decides to take his shore leave and he shows up with the wedding gifts for Worf and Dax. and he ends up in the commotion just because you can't kill Warford Dax, but you can mess up Data pretty bad
I
because you
was
know he's gonna
yeah.
survive. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. He'll be fine.
just like if they cross over with aliens, Data would be the one to get the chest burster because he could survive. So
Would that even work?
that's kind of interesting, right? Like because
I don't think it would.
because you it needs to it needs the human body to grow, right?
Yeah,
So Data is just machine, like it would just sit there.
probably.
Because I've also thought about what if we do cinnamon and oatmeal versus aliens?
Ooh.
Sorry,
Well,
Oat, you're gonna take one for the team. Ah! But he's like punching it as it's coming out of his stomach.
well, it
Uh,
does like yeah. Oh man, that would be crazy. A Xeno Teddy.
uh-huh.
A,
But also, I think those guys would be the ones for like when the little mouth comes out, they would
mhm.
like bite it off.
Yeah, yeah.
And for some reason they're immune to acid because it's
Yeah.
special. It's not acid, it's alien acid. So,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, yeah, I don't know. That'd be rad.
That would be red.
They what else? Okay, they just did Wolverine and Predator, right? They did the comic.
Yeah.
Aren't they doing like a Black Panther as well? Or did I make that
I
up?
no, I think I think they were just gonna do
When was it?
oh well no, they did like a Marvel Alien crossover.
Yeah, they did, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm,
Yeah, Jonathan Hickman wrote that one.
interesting.
Um yeah, but I do remember that I think that they were supposed to do like just like tie-in covers. So I think it was going to be like Alien and Predator, fighting different Marvel characters. I think there may be an image of like a Black Panther and a Predator. Um but I don't know if that got released because
S-
I think a lot of those also got pulled
Hmm,
uh for some reason, even though that was a little more recent.
hmm. We could you gotta do Vader
Oh
versus
yeah.
like the alien or whatever. He can do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
I
he would
remember
do
in the
it.
Superman, like Superman gets the chest burster in him, and like if I remember correctly, like he uses kryptonite to weaken himself so it can burst out of him because
Oh yeah.
it can't. It's not strong enough.
Yeah.
So he uses the kryptonite to weaken up so it could burst out, and then like he flies into the sun or whatever
Yeah.
he does. I'm like, rat. That's rat. So, well, listeners, this was nice. We didn't have anything to watch this week.
Yeah.
No pressure, just talking, just chatting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
No, no,
just
no pressure pod.
yeah, two brothers, two podcasters with our best friend, you. And I hope you join us next week as we start Star Wars Andor. Don't worry, Sam's going to kind of be running the show since he's watched Andor. Um, so I'm pretty sure he won't do that joke as much as I do. So,
Yeah, I won't.
but yeah, let us know. Like, what are your thoughts on Star Wars in general? Where are you at? Do you love it? Do you think it's okay? Do you hate it? Have you watched every single piece of Star Wars content? I want to know. Let me know. And have you watched Andor? And or will you be watching with us? Because that's half the fun. That's half the
Mm-hmm.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, let us know what you think. And as always, hit us up on social media. Hashtag Lost Legacies. I'm on Instagram and Threads at Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch, and on BluSky at Matthew Jimenez.
And you can find me on BluSky, Instagram, and Threads at Real. That's REEL Texas Weirdo.
And until we can come up with a better sign off, get
Get
lost.
lost.